Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Breitling Chronomatic 49 Special Edition. You can see and you can purchase this Chronomatic 49mm chronograph on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Breitling Chronomatic 49. Now you can see on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the spirit of '68 is alive and well, because 1968 was the year that Breitling debuted the case that you see here. It's not a product of the modern oversized watch craze. In fact, this watch, far from being part of a craze, was part of the cockpit equipment of aviators of the time, the idea being that the watch was so large it would be easy to read at a glance when worn over a flight suit. So the size of this watch is actually part and parcel of its history. Now you can see the watch is 49 millimeters across the round of the case, not inclusive of the crown or the chronograph pushers. It's actually not that thick. 14 millimeters means it can slide underneath some cuffs, but think jacket or blazer. This isn't one for formal attire. The watch is 55 millimeters from lug to lug, which is challenging for a smaller wrist. I would say 15 centimeters, a little bit smaller than mine, is probably the lower limit for wearing this watch, but the Aero Classic mesh bracelet on this watch makes it an extraordinary experience. Comfortable, also evocative in a vintage sense. You can see the straight bar linking to the lugs, the mesh almost beads of rice style, beautifully made, it's beautifully polished, the tolerances are tight, close, it satisfies in the hand, and because it is so supple with the individual micro links, it feels silken, almost like a piece of textile, and a very supple piece of textile on the wrist. It is supremely comfortable. It's paired with a very substantial single fold deploying clasp that closes with the security of a clamshell attachment on top. This secures the watch, as you can see. With a snick and a snap, it becomes very, very solidly fixed on the wrist. Getting a watch with the bracelet, especially one like this that you might swap to a strap, is the way to buy it, because the bracelet always costs more after the fact as an aftermarket accessory to buy from Breitling than it does to simply buy with the watch. So if you want to rock the NATO look on this watch, and it would rock a NATO, get it on the bracelet. It's the way to go. Now, the watch itself is all of high polish, the finish of the case being very contemporary Breitling. Highly visible, it's paired with a subdued rubber treatment about the bidirectional rotating differentially geared slide rule bezel. Now this is the most upscale and deluxe version of Breitling's signature circular flight computer. You can see there's a little sort of cover on the side of the case, and while traditionally this case would have been used with the chronomatic calibers that sometimes featured a winding and setting crown at 9 o'clock, in this case the cover is for the differential gear. You can see how the bezel actually moves internally at a different speed than the outer rubber knurled portion that I'm turning, and the differential gear hidden underneath this port is what makes that happen. Now, the circular flight computer is basically a calculator for multiplication and division. I always like to say that you will learn to outpace your friends in their iPhones and Samsung Galaxies when calculating the tip at a restaurant. Once you get good with this, in fact, it is quite slick and quite smooth. And remember, circular slide rules like this are still used in naval aviation, Air Force aviation training, and as far as I know, a lot of civilian aviation agencies also continue to use it. So while it's not the most common flight computer in the cockpit today, it still maintains a fundamental core curriculum relevance. Now, inboard of that, you can see that the dial is a beautiful sort of sunburst chocolate bronze. It has richness to it, depth of grain. All of the indices are beautifully loomed and applied. It's an upscale dial, complemented by the beautiful Breitling rose gold script B at 12 o'clock. Now again, it is in the image of its historic forebear, so you have the oversized Lancet-style orange, really orange-red chronograph seconds hand center, and a differentiation between constant seconds at 3 o'clock and chronograph minutes at 9 and chronograph hours at 6. Of course, there is a date window and there is a quick set for the date, because this watch employs Breitling's automatic chronometer grade caliber 14. Caliber 14, protected to 3 ATM by this aviator style case, that's 30 meters, splash and rain only, is automatic with a 42-hour power reserve. The Base caliber is an ETA 2892A2 in chronometer grade. It features hacking seconds, so pull the crown, stop the balance, synchronized to a reference time, a quick set for correcting the date, smooth bidirectional winding, and then it's paired with a Dubois-Depraz chronograph module, which allows you to essentially just leave the chronograph running. As it doesn't use a traditional lateral yoke to engage the chronograph, but it is a vertical clutch system, so there's no additional wear and tear if you prefer to simply leave the chronograph running to read your hours, minutes, and seconds at center. A handsome watch, you can see this combination of historic 49mm steel case and remarkably supple Aero Classic mesh bracelet on our website.